We had fun there.
So the main topic these days, when you turn on your television, is on. It just needs to be up. Test, test. This is handheld one. There you go. All right. So if you turn on your television, the topic of the day is fear. Yes? So I thought I would give you a little story about what fear does as we start. I think it's a little bit hot. So it goes like this. There once was a criminal who had committed a crime. And we all say, duh, what criminals do, right? Anyway, he was sent to the king for his punishment. The king told him he had a choice of two punishments. You could be hung by a rope, or take what's behind the big, dark, scary, mysterious iron door. The criminal quickly decided on the rope. As the noose was being slipped on him, he turned to the king and asked, by the way, just out of curiosity, what was behind that door? The king laughed and said, you know, it's funny, I offer everyone the same choice and nearly everyone picks the rope. So, said the criminal, tell me, what's behind the door? I mean, obviously I won't tell anybody. He said, pointing to the noose around his neck. The king paused and answered, freedom. It seems most people are so afraid of the unknown, they immediately take the rope. So don't hang yourselves. Tomorrow the sun's going to come up. The sun's going to go down. It's going to be another day in paradise. And if not this paradise, God has prepared a paradise that's even better. So we win or we really win. It's up to you. I just want to remind you that fear doesn't do anything but spoil a perfectly good day. Take your precautions, do what you need to do, but enjoy the moment. You only get one at a time. Father, I am so grateful for your grace in our lives, for the way you have continually looked after us and cared for us. And you know all that's going on in our world. This is not the first time the world has gone into panic. It probably won't be the last. But you are not the author of fear. And so we ask that you would give us the confidence we need to enjoy our day, the wisdom to realize that we are vulnerable, and the ability to take the next right step, even if it's an unknown freedom. All of this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Mary Grace Driscoll and I'm the Health Center Administrator. So I just wanted to keep everyone informed of what we're doing up in our Health Services building to prevent the spread of coronavirus into our community, as well as have things available should we get any kind of cases. We are tracking everything right now so that we can be able to track where it came from. So primarily, we have our environmental services team really bumping up what they're doing, and I think Kim is going to go into that in more detail later. We also have all of our staff wearing PPE, which is personal protective equipment. So that includes the mask, the gown, the gloves, and that's for any residents that we have who have any kind of upper respiratory symptoms. We do have a few cases of pneumonia and bronchitis, but we do not have any kind of coronavirus in our community just yet. But just anybody who has any kind of upper respiratory droplet precautions needed, we've got our staff washing hands, going in, putting on the equipment, coming out, washing their hands, and then going to see the next residents. So hand hygiene is our biggest hero here. We are also screening all of our employees when they come to work every day. We're asking if they have a fever or any upper respiratory symptoms, or anything like a cough or headaches or anything like that. So we're documenting that as well. So every single employee who comes to work up in our building is getting asked before they start their shift, do you have a fever? Do you have any symptoms? We are also screening all of the visitors. If you've been trying to come up to the health center recently, you'll notice that we don't have our side door open. We're encouraging all visitors to come in through one entrance so that we can track them well and screen them before they come in. And we are doing the same with all of our vendors. So anyone who is coming into our health services building, we're asking a few questions before they're coming in. Those questions include if you have been out of the country in the past 14 days, if you have been in close contact with someone who has, or if you have any symptoms or a fever. And I think that's it. I will be available for questions afterward if I have forgotten anything or if you have any questions for me. I'll be right over there with my coffee cup. Thank you. Oh, my coffee's waiting for me over there.
Hey everyone. So I also have a joke for you. Did you guys hear about the germ that was going around? Well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want it to spread. Anyway, so I don't know if you all remember my handy dandy Protexus gun. So I wanted to go over a little bit with you about what we're doing in EVS. It's just too high for tall people. So I'm using this Protexus gun over at the health center on all the railings and handles and all that good stuff. I do it about twice a day. We do it in all the vacant rooms and ISO rooms. So I'm also getting a second one, and that one will be used over here on all the railings and things like that. You guys didn't notice I sprayed the whole room before you came in, and it was already dry before you came in. So that's how quick it dries. And of course we'll be spraying it all before you left because we know about all the germs you probably left here. So I'll be spraying it all again. But that's how quick this thing works. It has a 10 to 15 minute dry time, sometimes quicker. It's just a very fine mist that goes out. And it has chlorine bleach tablets that go in here, and it doesn't ruin any fabrics or anything like that. So it's just a great one. This is one of the best tools I've ever gotten for killing viruses. So like Mary Grace said, we've stepped up like we always do. This is not new to EVS. We do this with every virus that comes in the building, so just letting you know it's not just the coronavirus that you're hearing about. We do it for influenza, norovirus, and everything. We automatically step up. We watch the CDC website when we have a virus in the area. That's when we step our handrail wiping, so we're wiping our handrails 2 to 3 times a day. We also will have sometimes volunteers or people that are on like workman's comp that have maybe got an injury and they're on light duty, we'll have them do it as well. So you'll see a lot of people wiping railings, okay? So there's nothing new that we don't do in every other viruses in the building. So, and I think that's about it. We've just stepped up our disinfecting and we're on top of it. So try to keep our residents healthy. I think you're less likely, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, you're less likely to get it here at DRV. You're more likely to contact it out in the public or from visitors. Walmart, Safeway, grocery outlet, places like that is where you're going to more likely contact it, where people are touching freezer doors and things like that. And you're less likely to get it here. So I'll also be available for questions afterwards. All right? Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Well, let's do that. Okay, so I think that Tracy has a few slides, so I'm going to let you go first.
Sorry, guys. I just was going to talk, we can both kind of talk about the precautionary measures we've put in place in independent living. You've probably already noticed some of those. We are asking all visitors to come through this lodge main entrance. And when they come through, they're going to fill out a short questionnaire. Here's the example of some of the questions that are on there. We're going to have them answer these. If there's a yes to any of these, we are going to ask them to postpone their visit. We don't want them to come in if they've had any of those symptoms. Was I too fast? I think I was too fast. Let's see if the back button works. So similar things that Mary Grace was talking about, any of the symptoms, or if you've been around anybody with those symptoms, been in close contact or with someone who's traveled internationally, or you yourself and then if you've recently traveled to a confirmed outbreak area. So because of that, we are locking some doors that are typically unlocked during the day. So just as a reminder, make sure to bring your keys with you. And I have put notes at the door to kind of stop you as you're heading out to remind you this door is now locked. Make sure to grab your keys. All right, and you know, we know, I think we know these things, but just as a reminder, if you're not feeling well, please stay in your apartment. Keep your germs to yourself. That would be very considerate of your neighbors, of course. And you can call and let us know at the front desk. We'd be happy to help you organize, you know, food from the dining rooms to be delivered. Again, the delivery fee is waived if you have a virus, a potentially contagious virus. So there wouldn't be a delivery charge to get those meals to you. So those are kind of my reminders. Okay.
Tracy, none of this applies to the garden homes, correct? Our visitors don't.
Yes and no. Yeah, I mean, I was going to speak to that, so that's a great question. The question was, how does this apply, or does it apply to the garden home people? So, you know, clearly, we aren't going to have, the plan is not to have people visiting you in your homes come here first and sign in and so forth, but it does raise a good question about, just as we're trying to kind of protect all of the people in this building in your own homes, those are some good questions to talk about with your visitors. Things that, again, these are some things that we have available on our website. We're also going to be finding other ways to communicate this to you. But there's some great suggestions from our different agencies, the CDC and Oregon Health Authority, local offices. And so I think some of the questions that I've seen there is, again, when you talk to, you know, whoever's coming to visit your home there, you know, have they been in an area that is kind of a known outbreak area? So they say that if you have come from an area, let's say from, you know, out of the country, that they're asking people to stay out, or kind of out of the general area, kind of sequester yourself for 14 days. That seems to be the period of time at this point that we're visually seeing whether you would be bringing something back. So one of the things that I will be doing, in fact we have now, we put on our website kind of a tab. I don't know if anybody has gone there and seen that. Has anybody seen that on our website? Not too many of our residents. Okay. So this is something that we'll be posting more information about. So if you have, I've heard from several family members, you know, daughters and sons, and they're asking questions like, you know, I don't live in the area. What are we doing to make sure that everyone here is okay? And so we've directed people who want to find out more information, not only what we're doing, but also kind of information that we can pass on to you. On our website, DallasRetirementVillage.com, there's going to be a tab in the top right corner that is, I think it's a different color, orange color. And what that's going to do is that'll open up, it'll have kind of an announcement from us. It's where I'm going to, and we will be putting updated information. In fact, I'm working on sending out another announcement about our current procedures for visitors coming on site. So that's an area that will be our attempt to try to make sure that the information you get is correct and accurate. It also provides other resources that you can use just for your own benefit. So I'm sure right now there's, you know, lots of, as you say, a lot of people are concerned. It's a great breeding ground for rumors. And so I think at the end of of this one section here, I know Mary Grace and Kim, Tracy, myself, we'll just take some questions from people, because I'm sure that you have questions that we can certainly try to answer for you. So, you know, the key again we've talked about is information really is powerful. The lack of information is what causes concern and worry. So we will try to pass on to you everything that we have. We will verify that it is accurate, and then make sure that's available to you. So I think with that, at this point, why don't we take a few questions if there are any here that we can answer, and I'll answer it, I'll direct it to one of our other team members that can respond to that. Yes.
You mentioned the website. Is there a website in addition to Odyssey?
Yes. Now, I don't know, does Odyssey have a link to our website? I think it does.
I think that our website has a link back to Odyssey.
Okay, so I don't know if it's the other way around, but okay. There is a website. It is a website that Dallas Retirement Village. If you just go online, you know, any search browser and type in Dallas Retirement Village, what will pop up there is our access to our website. When you go onto the website, you'll see kind of the notice about that right on that front page.
It is orange. It's a pretty good sized banner.
It is orange.
It's a pretty good sized banner, so
Okay.
it's hard to miss.
Any other questions? Not a lot of questions. Yes.
Is
sure.
there any difference in testing? Like, I heard on the news that people can get the flu also, and they still should be not going out and be contagious, but that does not always mean that it's the coronavirus.
Okay. I'm going to let Mary Grace address that. She's our local expert here, so because it's such a critical area for the skilled nursing, she's kind of keeping track of all of the latest and greatest information. So.
Yes, so very good question. I'm sorry, who asked? Oh, thank you, sorry about that. So the question, I'm sorry, do you mind repeating that?
Is there a difference how they test to find out? You're supposed to stay home when you're sick.
Yes.
But also to know whether it is like regular flu that
Mhm.
they get.
Yes.
They still do get that.
Yes. So there is a different test for coronavirus. As you probably have been watching the news, you know that that test is not as readily available as the flu. So what I do know that will hopefully help with this question is that the medical professionals, they're using Occam's razor. The flu is still more prevalent than coronavirus is. There are still far more cases of the flu in the United States, in Oregon, and worldwide than there have been of coronavirus. If you go to the doctor, first they will test you for the flu. They will not do another test if that one's positive, but then they'll test you for pneumonia, and then they'll test you for RSV, which is just respiratory virus, and only if you test negative on all of those will they test you for coronavirus. But very few people have been getting that positive diagnosis, so that's the last thing they're going to check for. Does that help with your question at all? Okay, thank you.
There's one over here.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
What is the test? Is it a blood test, a urine test, or what is it?
I don't know, actually, I'm sorry.
Yes, the question is, what is the coronavirus test? And blood test, we're not positive at this point. Again, I don't think I think that would be something before you get tested, you'll be, there'll be people contacting you, and that you won't have to worry about not knowing what a test is there. So, it's a great question. We are, I think one of the things we've talked about, I heard just just back today that in Washington, the governor has kind of signed into law that there can't be people at any event more than 250 people. So that's interesting. So that's, obviously they're a little bit further along with with the virus there, but we, at this point, what we're doing is if we have events that are happening. We're just taking each one kind of into consideration, asking the question is there something that is pressing to meet? We talked about even this meeting today, but we felt like because this information is really important for all of you to receive, we felt like it was good for us to go ahead and meet. And we're going to make sure we make some of this material available to you. There'll be a video as well, so anyone that doesn't come or wants to get records of what we talk about, we'll make sure that's available. So,
Why is it with all the panicking going on that 40,000 plus die each year with the flu and only 70 people have died and everybody's panicking?
well, question is why are people panicking when people, the flu's been around a long time. We have 30, 40, 50,000 people in the United States that die every year. Why are we kind of panicked over a smaller number? I think there's probably answer. Some of that is, there's lots of answers to that. I think people, I think the news definitely can sometimes make it there, but to say that there's still a lot of unknown about this. And so I think, it's a new virus, not something that we've kind of had exposure to. So I think there's a more susceptibility potentially. It's early on in this process. What we understand, and I don't know, Mary Grace can correct me, but the mortality rate of this is about 10 times higher than the flu. At least that's what it has been worldwide. Generally, my understanding is the flu is about 0.1% of people who get the flu, so very, very small numbers. Whereas at least we don't have enough information in the United States, but worldwide where it has been there, the rates have been, between 1% and 3% who have died from that. So the concern there is if we got similar numbers like the flu, it could be significantly more serious. But you're right, at this point, it's a very small number. So I think there is a little bit of, we are taking reasonable precautions that I think are prudent, but definitely we don't want people to be panicking and, I know that's, I guess toilet paper has been on the run at the stores, and you couldn't buy a sanitizer if you wanted to right now or something like that. So people are reacting to it in different ways. So again, back to our group meetings and group of activities, we're really assessing each one, and we'll be determining whether we cancel some or not. And obviously, it's always your choice to not participate in certain things if you feel that would be in your best interest. One of the things we are also doing is we're trying to limit the staff going between buildings. So again, just another step. It can't be 100% situation like that, but whatever we can kind of keep people in a certain area. That just, again, is a little bit more precaution. So if something happens in one area, we're able to kind of identify that quickly and try to make sure it doesn't move into another building. So between the two buildings there, that's kind of some of the rationale why we're doing that. I'm getting the wrap-up signal. So there will be, we're at this point, again, we're going to be sending out some more materials for us, information about this in writing, and so you will be seeing that here soon. Always feel free to contact the front desk or any of us if we can try to answer questions to you. We will certainly try to do that. So. Because Laura, you're up. So thank you everyone for your help with that, and again appreciate your understanding and patience as we do everything we can to take reasonable and precautions. We appreciate your help with that. Now on to something much more fun.
Good afternoon. Okay, I just have a few little updates for you, just reminders if you're interested. Tomorrow, we have the Old Time Fiddlers coming. We have asked them all the questions that you saw on the slide that Tracy was showing you. So we are asking our visitors, not just visitors, but also the presenters or the musical groups or anything that comes that we're inviting here. We're asking them the same questions for you. So, but tomorrow, Old Time Fiddlers at 2:30 here in the Cascade Commons. So if you'd like to come and hear them and enjoy some music, please join us. And then, so normally tomorrow would have been our lunch out, but because of the fiddlers coming, we moved our lunch out to next Thursday, and the sign-up sheet does reflect that. So the lunch out is next Thursday. And then Friday night, we have a speaker coming. His name is Lance Bestros, and he has been here before. But he will be coming Friday night, and he'll be talking about the American military and society. And there was a flyer in your looking ahead that kind of showed what he was going to cover and talk about. So if you're interested, please join us. He's a very good speaker, and I think everyone really enjoyed his last topic. So please come.
Is that going to be here?
Yes, it is going to be here Friday night at 6:30.
Is this correct?
Yes, correct. And then a couple of things I wanted to let you guys know is you saw the interest sheet that was out about the bird walks. So we have a resident here that does bird walks, and his name is Jim Scott. Jim, do you want to maybe stand up for a second? So this is Jim, and he does a morning walk every morning. And he goes around campus and he identifies the birds, the beautiful birds that we have all over campus. So he had he had me put an interest sheet out to see if anyone would like to join him. And he's going to do he does his normal walk every morning, but on the first Saturday in April, he'll be starting a group walk. So all the people that were interested, I will be sending you I'll be putting in your box a little information sheet just with some information that Jim provided to me that he would like you to have. And then, just a reminder, since the fiddlers are coming tomorrow, the Line Dancing Club will be moving their activity to the Village Apartment Craft Center in the basement. So just, if the club members have not heard from Ron or seen the announcement on Odyssey, that's where it'll be tomorrow.
Just for that week?
Just for this week. And then, I have the garden bed sign-up sheets out. So any new resident or a resident that has not previously had a garden bed, there was a sign-up sheet for that. I had a couple people sign up, and so next week I will be assigning them a space, and then I'll be contacting all the current residents that have a space and finalizing everything with you. And just an update on that is that I've been talking to facilities about some more soil or topping off some of the garden beds with soil, and we'll be working on that soon. And also the weeds around the garden beds on the ground will be cleaned up. So that's in the works. But other than that, that's all I have for right now. Oh, I'm sorry, I do have one more thing. So Hillary gave me a questionnaire that she wants me to pass out to everyone. It's just a two-sided sheet. And it's just basically we want to get your idea of different things that you might be interested in us adding to our current activities. So I will have these in the back, or when you leave, I'll have them and you can pick them up for me. And if you have any questions about them, please reach out to me. Thank you.
Lori,
Yes.
I was approached today that you had talked with Russ about canceling bingo, and you left it up to Russ and I. But I think it needs to come from administration, not from a resident, as to whether or not we should have bingo or not. And I was also told that you would have to be spraying down all the cards, and they'd be left in place and whatever else, which is a lot more work on your part too. So I'd like some information on bingo.
Actually, Russ approached me and asked me about bingo, and I had just provided the information to him of what we were planning on doing. And so, as of now, I would love to continue with bingo. if you feel comfortable with continuing with it, that's great, and I would be there to run it for everyone. If you're not comfortable, then I totally understand, and but what I'm doing right now is I'm wiping all the cards down, and I'm wiping the laminate sheet that shows the different games that we play, and then I'll be wiping the tables down, and I'll be doing that after every game. So every week we'll have fresh bingo cards and tables and things like that. So nothing's been decided to cancel an event completely. But again, if you're not comfortable, then I certainly understand and I respect that. So, yes.
We want to thank Tom and Dale for making improvements at the car wash station out there.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
Dale, Tom.
Well done.
We have residents that are saying thank you for making the improvements in the car wash area. So I appreciate it. And I also want to thank Francie from Life Enrichment. I want to thank you for stepping up and doing those wonderful exercise classes with all the residents while Julie was not here. So thank you for that.
As marketing is coming up, I would be remiss if I do not mention that we have a rotary barrel that's in the mailroom here in the lodge. Do we have one also in the apartments? Just one? So it's a barrel in the mailroom here, and it is for those of you who would like to donate. It's a Rotary Fund program. Do you know what does it go towards, Jim?
It's all food bank.
All the food bank.
And food collected here in Dallas goes to the Dallas.
Okay, so the food that's collected here in Dallas stays in the community. So if you have, and I think there's some samples of things that they're looking for. I know peanut butter is always one of the big ones, but yes, if you would like to do that, the barrel is in the mailroom. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel extra sterile and clean coming to Dallas Retirement Village. I'm going to go home and roll in the dirt just for a good time today. But good to know we've got you covered, right? I hope you all have peace of mind. And Pastor Cliff's words are very true. Don't live in fear, and don't worry, be happy. Peggy's going to introduce our most recent move-ins.
Okay, we have had a few. So I don't see Vern. Vern Myrie. No. Vern moved into the village apartments, so you'll probably see him around. Carolyn Johnson, are you here? She's moving, I think, today. So I think she's got her moving going on right now, so you might not see her yet. And then I do see Jack and Larita. So would you mind standing for a minute? Just Jack and Larita Ray. They just moved into one of our garden homes, so everybody be sure and say hello.
Okay, so I think last month I mentioned that I'd let you down on the what is it, and just to be consistent, I did it again. So I forgot to post it on Odyssey. Peggy and I brainstormed a way to rectify this problem that we're having, but we wanted to share last month's winner. And I'll tell you, I almost had to tackle Bert to get a picture. So look at it for a long time. She doesn't like to be photographed. You may never see something like this again. But that little kind of V in the little buffet table was what we had photographed the month before. So Bert's the winner. You guys are going to have to step up your game for next month's picture, which we will put on Odyssey today, I promise. Andre, Tom, put your hand down. I could say something, but it would give it away, so I'm not going to say a word. But as always, you can submit your guess to the front desk, to Peggy or myself. And if you are the lucky winner, we like to capture your photo and share it with everyone. So I'm curious, how many of you came today just because the very last thing on the agenda was a special announcement? All the staff came because of the special announcement. So the residents, did you notice we had a special announcement? Did you wonder why we didn't feed you today? Yes. That's an important part of this event, right? Snacks? Well, I think we have a one more teaser for you before we give you the big special announcement. Francie's gonna try to find that, I think. We lost our computer operator. She had to go run an errand, so we're pulling it up here for you. Just dragging out the suspense. I know you can hardly stand it. Okay. It was red. It was red. Raise your hand if you remember that building, that color. Pretty cool. Looks more orange. Dave, was that a different paint color? It could be. Wow. Well, if you want to find out more, you have to follow us, being the staff of Dallas Retirement Village, over to the Village Apartments, and we have something to show you. Ready? Let's
Somebody could fall asleep eating this. Somebody asked when they saw me. And I was like, no. I have it.